Hey, this is Luke DePron with the Fitmen Project. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my good friend, Scott Ferguson. Let's level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I'm super excited, stoked to bring you my good friend, Luke DePron. We just recently kind of met, but I feel like I've known this guy forever. We were off the mic for probably, usually I have a 10, 15-minute kind of chat before we dig in the interview. We chat easily for 30 minutes. The guy has a huge heart. He really is. He's a online fitness coach, but he's not a cookie cutter. I've employed cookie cutters and I couldn't stand it because they're just, the care's not there. I mean, he sets you up a unique, authentic plan that is going to help you level up to your ultimate human fitness potential. He drops super awesome knowledge nuggets, and I just had the best conversation when we stayed on after and talked. And I can't wait to really go out to San Diego next time I'm out, my favorite city in the world, and meet him. So if you're looking to level up your health, please break out your notebooks or share this with somebody that has talked about leveling up their health, because they need to hear what my good friend Luke says. And if you like it, please smash the like button or smash the subscribe button. My sponsors and affiliates absolutely love that. So without further ado, comes our really good friend, Luke DePron from the Fitmen Project. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I just got stuck. Awesome conversation with my good friend Luke DePron here. He lives in San Diego, my most favorite place on the face of this earth. My ashes are going to be scattered there in the Sunset Cliffs, and we were just kind of he just kind of take me down memory lane with a lot of stuff. Another jiu-jitsu practitioner, somebody that I immensely respect with the Fitmen Project, but don't get that wrong. He also works with women as well. He has fantastic programs for women and men. They all kind of go into universal, but he's not a cookie cutter guy either. He's going to really dial into what you need, because he's a very highly sought after online weight loss coach for busy entrepreneurs and businessmen. He helps high achieving entrepreneurs lose 20 plus pounds of body fat through the Lean Body Method, so their physiques, energy, and confidence match the success they have in business and in life. And he's a real proponent of health first. And Luke, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. But what superpower do you have that nobody really knows about?
Ooh, I don't know if I feel like maybe the cat's out of the bag with the people that know me, but
okay.
I really pride myself on my EQ skills. So
okay.
My ability to connect with people, understand kind of where they're at in their challenges, and be able to support and hold space for them is something that I would innately say I have and find easy.
I love that you said that, because when I first hopped on with you, we were having sound issues and stuff, and you were so chill, so cool, so California, so Midwest about it. But it felt like I had known you for a while and we were just catching up.
Sure.
You're right, man. You lean right into that, brother.
Well, thank you, man. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the roots from you, brother. Where are we coming from, and took you out in building the Fitmen Project, which absolutely rocks. Squad, go there after this and check out his website and whatnot. Don't go there now, because he's going to drop some serious knowledge on it. So let's get to the roots of you, Luke.
Yeah, man. So I'm originally from Illinois, and like a lot of folks who end up in the fitness space, grew up doing sports. Didn't really have an idea what that looked like, when pretty quickly it was evident I'm not going to be a professional athlete. Went to school for business, and I remember sitting in an accounting class thinking, man, I absolutely hate this stuff. And started thinking about what am I spending my time on, and realizing I'm reading about nutrition. So it was my fourth year, changed schools, changed universities, joined a kinesiology degree, because I had an idea of, hey, this is a passion, this is an interest, and I'm going to figure out something with this. And it really did kind of help me marry two things that I'm really passionate about, which is helping people and my personal interest. So it was kind of the perfect mashup. After school, kind of like a lot of folks, I wasn't sure where I was going, and had met a girl that kept me in Illinois a little longer than intended. And then we actually moved out to San Diego kind of on a whim, 8 days before we're going to leave. We're like, hey, we probably need a place to stay, and moved to California. And here we are 15 years later. It's an awesome place. And yeah, I feel like I tell people, I think I'm destined for Colorado, but I've been saying that for a long time. And San Diego is a tough place to leave.
It is. It's to me, it's the most beautiful place on the face of the earth, because living there for 7 years, being stationed there, was bro, I could check out everything. Always had something to do, outside, inside, and whatnot. But so the the coaching part of it, how did that come about with the Fit Men Project? And really, I know you're leaning into what your passion was pretty much your whole life, but how did it really, the Fit Men Project, come about?
Yeah. So I started in the fitness industry as a personal trainer
Sure.
and did that for a while, started my own personal training practice.
Mhm.
And then I actually injured my back and ended up crawling into a chiropractic office. When I say crawling, we're talking like, how are we going to get me out of the house? We don't know. Out of the car, I'm on all fours walking across the parking lot with V. She's next to me. I mean, we look like some crazy couple crawling up a flight of stairs.
Right.
And Veronica, she also went to school for kinesiology. She was working in rehab. And on the spot, the chiropractor is negotiating with her about like, oh, he needs a physical therapy assistant. So they're talking about working together.
While
While
you're
I'm
there
getting,
in pain?
yeah,
Dude.
I'm on like a flexion and extension table, like ask for more. Like as I raise up on the table, like you deserve more. And this was a place that I really got to cut my teeth on the physical side, working
Sure.
with some doctors of physical therapy, doctors of
Mm.
chiropractic, some soft tissue experts. It really was a tremendous growth opportunity from a knowledge standpoint. And this, but again, was in the rehab space. And there was always this idea of I really enjoyed the more of the like lifestyle transformation side of things, helping people find their path on health and wellness, which was what I tried to do as a personal trainer. And I'll be honest, I saw a lot of failures in that. There was a lot of people that I would work with that would ultimately check the box. They saw me as their trainer, got my workout in, that's it.
Right.
Versus what's the actual goal? Like, hey, I want to have lots of energy. I want to feel better. I want to sleep better. I want to perform better. I want to lose the weight. And online coaching actually ended up being, at first, it was a challenge. It was something that I was like, how am I going to do the physical side of this? Coming
Mm.
from a rehab background that was so detailed in biomechanics.
Hands on. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And to understanding that there needs to be a growth gap. And the online world creates the growth gap. I'm not there to babysit you.
Mhm.
I'm there to help you optimize the process. And you need to have a growth gap to where you can become the guy or gal who's willing to do the hard work. If the only way that you're willing to get a workout in is if your trainer is going to drag you through it,
Sure.
you're not likely going to execute well on the lifestyle factors. You're not likely going to execute well on the nutrition principles. And I found in the online space, I had this really great opportunity to dive into a little bit of the psychology side of coaching. Again, create that growth gap where, hey, here's the frameworks, here's the accountability and support, a level of accountability and support without babysitting people. And it really gave them more autonomy to actually step in, become the version of themselves that is the healthy, fit version, and really step into some identity-based decision making. And that's where stuff started to take off for me.
You started giving them kind of responsibility
Yeah.
for themselves, right?
Yep.
And yeah, I love that, and I love that you're not a babysitter because again, I've worked, competed in bodybuilding. I actually had a bodybuilding coach, and it was a cookie cutter program. You know
Sure.
what I'm saying? It's like, oh,
Sure.
and I caught him in it, like a cut and paste, day of the show. So
Yeah.
what sets your program apart from those cookie cutter programs out there, Luke?
I think it really is all my coaching is highly customized to your unique situation. And so there's foundational principles that we're all going to have to bring in, but how
Yeah.
do we actually like execute that for your unique life? Again, I tend to work with busy entrepreneurs. These are
Mm.
guys who are building some are building big businesses, some have a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And some of the challenges might be like, well, they are having sleep is they're going to be biggest domino. So maybe we're going to tackle that first.
Love it.
Stress is going to be a huge challenge for a lot of these guys. Hey, maybe we need to do some stress mitigation. So really meeting people where they are within those challenges and then figuring out how do we inject these kind of foundational principles around exercise, sleep, nutrition, but ultimately it has to be unique to you. Telling somebody, hey, here's a great example. Cool. You're gonna do a Monday through Friday workout routine, and at 6 a.m. here you go. And
Right.
great, I get you all excited about it, but how about the fact that you have 3 kids
Yeah.
under the age of 5, and you got to be
Sure.
out of the house by 7? Well, that's
Right.
that's a mismatch.
Right.
So it really is about how do we fit these foundational principles into your specific situation, and ideally, we want to make it feel as easy as possible.
Sure.
Let's make the hard feel easy.
So getting to shining the light on their blind spot? Because you mentioned sleep, you've mentioned diet, you've mentioned what is some of your secret sauce about? Because you gotta notice that first before you can really customize a program to them, is what I
Sure.
would thinking. So
Mhm.
what is your process, your secret sauce really to do that?
So I have a pretty, I have an overly in-depth intake form
Okay. No, I love
that
that,
re
man. Because
that
you're
really,
online, dude. It's that's
yeah, yeah.
again, you're not cookie cutter.
Yeah, and
That's
and
awesome
I
though.
hop on, we do Zoom calls.
Okay.
So I'm having face-to-face opportunities with folks, and really it's honestly it's just diving deep, getting to know them, creating a space to where they're comfortable to share things, right? Like, I mean, I've had a client who, and again, this is I share this publicly because he was willing to, but to be able to feel comfortable to open up with the fact that like, yeah, man, I'm coming home and I'm pouring a Yeti of vodka. Like that's how I'm getting to sleep, and actually feeling comfortable to like share that level of challenge, but
Vulnerability. Yeah.
also kind of vulnerability to where like he knows this isn't good. His liver enzymes are peaking, but actually like
Yeah.
having the confidence to actually express that like, well, yeah, I'm crushing it in my three businesses. Like
Right.
clearly things are kind of falling apart in my health. And I think
Sure.
really it's just having a judgment-free zone for
Right.
folks.
Right.
I've done this long enough. I mean, this is something on every initial conversation I have with somebody, whether it's just they're potentially interested to working together. I'm like, there is no judgment in this. I've
Right.
done this long enough. I've worked with people who have got the pizza, ate half of it, put it into the trash outside, gone back into the trash and pulled it out.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the challenges that people
Sure.
get with this. There's a lot of psychological things that are going to rear their head to this.
Right.
And so I think the biggest thing is just the fact that I'm not bringing any judgment is probably a huge piece.
And I absolutely love that. And what I'm also hearing is I'm not a believer in balance at all. I think balance is junk. It's zero. It's like you put 10-pound plate on this side, 10-pound plate, you got zero. But what I'm hearing with you is like how I coach. Actually, I coach from a place of neutrality, right? From being really neutral, but I'm also we need harmony. Like I'm a big jazz. I love jazz, right?
Okay.
And so like let's say God is the drums, or your creator's the drums, and personal growth is the guitar, and family is the horns, and on through work, community, money, living environment, and health and recreation, right? But each one of them is a different instrument. If one of them is out of tune, it sounds like junk. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
asking you to be Eddie Van Halen on the guitar, or Bonham on the
Yeah.
drums, or whatnot, right? Or Louis Armstrong on the horns. But if we can just get it tuned up to the point where you're leveling up, and that's what I'm hearing you do. Like you give a shit about those different pillars, not just, hey, let's fricking work out. Am I hearing it right?
Absolutely. And man, this is where I've often felt like an outsider in the fitness industry. I'm not interested in doing a bodybuilder show that like just
Sure.
doesn't not my thing. And when you look at the fitness industry, most people they're getting information from a community of people who are obsessed with it.
Right.
I'm clearly very interested. I mean, it's a passion, it's an interest.
Right.
But at the end of the day, actually it's funny that you use jazz because I think to somebody who doesn't know jazz, it can feel noisy and
Sure.
maybe a little chaotic. And
Mhm.
that is actually like I think many people's lives and how fitness actually and
Yeah.
nutrition needs to fit into it.
Right.
It cannot take over your life. It
Right.
needs to support all of the things that you do. And this is where you mentioned balance. A lot of guys fall into the all in, all out mentality, and
Thank
that
you. Yeah.
really, really hinders them.
Sure.
And it's because your health and your wellness is something that is so foundational. It cannot be this thing that is this all encompassed, focused part of your life
Right.
because it needs to be the air, the oxygen. It's
Yes.
there, it's important, but you're not constantly thinking about it.
Yes.
And that's where if we can get to that point to where
Thank
it's
you, dude.
oxygen and it exists for you, it's there, it's crucial, but you're not obsessed about it. And
Yes.
for that all in out person, I
Yeah.
guarantee, I mean, I have this conversation so often. Oh, you don't understand. I'm an all in, all out kind of guy. I get
Right.
it. That works in your business.
Sure.
You're approaching your health and your fitness as a marketing launch. We need to approach it as a business plan,
Love it.
something that you can do long term that feels somewhat light and somewhat easy. Within that, there's going to be some peaks and some valleys, but you really do have to step back and reevaluate what it means to be, quote, all in.
Love it, man. That sounds so. If you're in a discovery conversation there, Luke, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Hmm. Man, that's interesting. Off the top of my head, I don't think I have anything, but I'm going to ponder that for
I
myself
would. This is
later.
what I'd be doing because again, you're not cookie cuttering me, dude. You're really
Yeah.
figuring me out. And that's something that I appreciate. And that's why you're freaking successful at this. I'd probably ask, what should I be doing if I'm not doing this? Like, if I'm not doing this, what would you recommend me doing for this? Or maybe I might even ask about your lineage and what your day looks like. I don't know. That's just me.
Sure.
But no, I appreciate your transparency on that, by the way. So what do you feel like your strengths are in your coaching?
Again, I think communication and connecting with guys is a huge piece. And this is the part I like. I enjoy the coaching process, right?
Right.
I enjoy, we have set coaching hours where I get on calls with guys, but like people have 24/7 access to me. And like, man, if they're willing to learn and they want to dive in, like they can get a lot of access. So I'm definitely willing to give and to share that.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the biggest strengths is like, I hate to say it in this industry, but like actually give a shit.
Showing up, giving a
Like,
shit. Love it.
like
Dude.
there's
Yeah.
so many, like there's so many people in the fitness industry that just they like exercise, so
Right.
they're in it.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
I'm like, I actually like the coaching process. I
Mhm.
actually like seeing people grow, seeing people level up. That's what's exciting to me. I
Yeah.
don't really care that you work out. I
Right.
care that you feel awesome. I feel that you're coming back and telling me like how good, like the most exciting thing is listening to somebody try to explain how good they feel.
Yeah.
Because they can't put it into words. I care that you're going to show up as a dad and like
Right.
go do some awesome trip with your kid.
Right.
Or the guy who was struggling with alcohol, who's kicked alcohol and like has literally ended generational alcoholism in his family. Like that's
Right.
exciting to me.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, the deeper stuff.
How about weaknesses, man? What are you trying to tune up right now?
Man, so weaknesses on mine, I got a lot, but the big one I would say, and this comes for me as a quote entrepreneur, is systems. So I'm not naturally, I tell people like I am an
Yeah.
EQ guy, right?
Right.
And I think on
Right.
the opposite of that, I know some really high performing IQ guys that operate through life through a very systematic approach. And while I
Sure.
do have that I'm bringing, it's odd because I'm bringing tons of structure and system to my clients to
Mhm.
get them to that point to where it can
Right.
be like oxygen, something that they don't have to think about.
Right.
But in my own day
For
to
your
day,
own.
I actually would identify, and I didn't realize until
Dude,
maybe a few years back,
so
but
good. Yeah.
I kind of identify as more of an artist. And
Yeah.
I've actually stumbled into doing some things in the arts, and we can talk about that later. Realizing that, like, wow, I'm not a systems thinker or a
Mhm.
systems performer. And when I'm around some really type A systems thinking people, I'm like, wow, that would be a very supportive way to naturally be tuned. And
Yeah.
I'm not naturally tuned that way. I mean, I'm the guy where I'm like, where did I put my keys? They're not in the key
Right.
dish because I tried to create the system of having a key dish.
Right.
My keys have never been in the dish. So
Right.
that is absolutely something that is not innate to me. And then I have to actively,
Dude, you and
push
I are
into.
like brothers from different mothers, dude, because I'm the same way. Like, I can set somebody up into their
Yeah.
accountability, into their harmony, into what they need to be doing with systems. But I got Berta, my coach. She's
Yeah.
the one that sets my systems up for me to be successful. And she's a hard ass, and she keeps me very accountable to this. So thank you for being transparent on that, man. So have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be like 40 years old next year, right? So
Yeah.
let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly, right? Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22. Which, by the way, you won't believe how old this guy is. I mean, if you're watching Vimeo or YouTube, the dude's like chicks would say a smoke show. I mean, the guy's very good looking. He looks like Scott Conn a lot. I don't know if the actor, he's like good looking dude, awesome jujitsu practitioner also. But anyways, man, let's go back to the Double
The guy
Deuce.
who's turning red over here. You mean?
Right. The Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Luke. What knowledge nuggets might you drop on him? Not to change anything, because your journey's pretty freaking awesome, right? But to maybe help him shorten the learning curve, blast through or level up maybe just a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I think at 22, I was not proactive in what I was trying to create or accomplish really at all.
Mhm.
It's interesting because I had a conversation with a nephew the other day. I was back home visiting for my grandmother's funeral, and he's 15. And so it's not quite 22, but it's a similar,
Yeah.
and I was talking to him kind of similar of what I wish I would have thought, to where when you're young, you can really take some shots. You can do some I think some really creative things as far as like reaching out to organizations, to people, get access when you're younger, because they're going to look at somebody who's young and hungry.
Mhm.
And I, at 22, wasn't really thinking proactively about my future and what I really
Right.
wanted to do at all. Yeah, I'm going to school for this, but what am I trying? I had no plan.
Right.
When I moved to California, I actually moved and worked at a pedal bike shop because I grew up
Grew up
working,
there.
doing
Yeah.
sales
Remember you
in a
saying
bike
that.
shop. And that was our access to come out to California, making
Okay.
$14 an hour
Right.
with a degree that I'm like, what am I planning on doing? So
Right.
I would have been much more proactive with lifestyle design. And it probably wasn't until my 30s really that I thought like, hey, let's be more intentional
Right.
with these outcomes.
Dude, just wait until you're in your 40s and like get up even
That-
close to my age. Like people will start, they'll look at you and be like, that dude, I need to learn from him. And you're going to be dropping knowledge nuggets, brother, from here going forward, man. I'm so glad that you have an open heart to do that. So, how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date, and your death date. Hopefully, it's way down the line. But how does Luke want his dash remembered?
my dash remembered.
Yeah, tombstone. You have that little
Oh,
line in between your life date and your death date.
yeah. I mean, I think about when I think like the values that I'm trying to constantly like work to implement. It's like I really value kindness. I think that's such an underrated element in society that like God,
Yeah.
we could solve so many problems. So I really hope that at the end of it, like people reflect back and then I was impactful to them and supportive and productive. I really do enjoy the process of helping and working with
Yeah.
folks. So like I
Shines
can't,
through.
yeah, like I can't relate to like when we think of careers, it's like, of course, working for yourself, everybody's thought about like, oh, I'm going to bag it in, go do something else. And it's like,
Sure.
well, I'd have to do something that I'm passionate about. Like I can't even comprehend doing something that isn't impactful.
Right.
Even if it was like, I mean, I don't know what that money would have to be like, hey, it's $3 million a year and you're going to like do this thing that you absolutely hate and it doesn't do anything for anybody. Like maybe then like, is
Right.
that enough?
No, I
So
love it,
I
man.
guess that dash line would be like passion and purpose, man.
Yeah, and giving, paying forward. I love that, brother. So, what do you think people might misunderstand the most about you?
Probably this is easy. I think people from the outside looking in would assume, oh, so you're a fitness guy, like you work out
You're
all
a
the
good-looking
time
fish
and
guy. You're a douchebag,
yeah,
right?
sure, right,
Kind of
yeah, yeah,
thing, dude.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can see it.
And it's so funny because again, this is the goal. It's like let's
Right.
get you to where exercise and nutrition. It's like brushing your teeth. It's something that you do all the time, but you don't put a lot of thought into it.
Love it,
And
dude.
so even from like a content creation standpoint, I've actually struggled. So we talked about I had a podcast in the past, and if you go listen to it, you're gonna be like, where's the health and fitness conversations? And it's like, yeah, it's like boring to talk about. There's a lot more to it. And so I think from the outside, obviously marketing, putting content out, yes, I'm talking about exercise, but
Yeah,
it's really such a small part of what I do and what I'm interested in.
love it, man. That's so transparent, man. So, what do you feel then? What is Luke's definition of a life well lived?
For me, life well lived, I think focuses around family, adventure. Adventure for me is new experiences. So things like jujitsu, going into an
Mhm.
acting class a few years back, getting out in nature, and then impact. And if I have those things, I'm
Dude,
solid.
can't ask for more, brother.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. We are back, and Luke, like I'm gonna be in San Diego like 3 times this year, so we're definitely gonna at least hook
Love
up.
it.
Maybe we'll get a roll in and
Yeah.
hang
Heck
out and
yeah.
whatnot.
That's
Uh,
happening for sure.
but like and we'll probably talk about some of these over a Hodad burger or something like that. Some of these questions for 15, 20 minutes. But today you got 5 seconds with no explanations. They can all be answered that way, brother.
Okay.
Ready to level up?
Yep. Let's go.
Cool. What is Luke's best leveling up advice he's ever received?
Done beats perfect.
Yes.
Waterfall iteration.
Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Nature. Getting outside
Beautiful.
daily.
Favorite color?
Blue or green.
Got it. So you see me walking down the street, like, man, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums. Man, like, what book might you hand me that's leveled you up that stimulate me to level up?
Probably one that maybe a lot of folks haven't read is Breaking the Habit of Being You by Dr. Dispenza.
Oh, yeah, Dr. D. Okay, Donnie, put that in the show notes. Okay, cool. Awesome. What's your most commonly used emoji when you text?
Fist bump.
Love it. Nicknames growing up?
Never had one. A little
Really?
upset about it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Monopoly, if I could ever get anybody to play.
Right, gotcha. Headline for your life?
Ah, man, headline for a life. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Any superstitions you buy into?
I don't split the pole if I'm walking.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Go-to ice cream flavor?
cookie dough. You're insane if it's anything else.
That's
Come on.
right. So there's a sandwich called the DuPron. Build that sandwich for me, man. What's on it?
Man, it's an almond. I actually have it. And they stopped making the salad dressing. It's an almond turmeric salad dressing that I do chicken thighs in with this
Ooh,
Bragg's 21 season spice. Marinate it, air
love it.
fry with a hoagie, butter, garlic, and some Havarti cheese and sauteed onions.
Legit. That sounds
So good.
brother. So favorite charity and or organization like to give your time or money to?
I think locally,
Mhm.
it's funny. This is how I think of giving back.
Sure.
I can't answer that with an organization.
No, you're fine.
It's the individual people in my neighborhood that
Love
we
it.
were kind of talking about.
Yeah.
In San Diego, there's a large homeless population,
Right.
and it's trying to impact the individual here.
Right.
And there are a number just in my neighborhood
Yeah.
that I get to kind of lean into.
Yeah, I
That's
love
been
that.
my route.
Doing it right outside your door. That's literally pretty much. That's awesome. So last question, and you can elaborate on this one, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
I mean, I'm gonna ruin everybody's day. Say 2000 rap. Let's go.
Okay, there works, dude.
90s 2000 rap.
Okay, got some Dre in there and Eminem and whatnot. That's awesome.
There you go.
Dude.
Yep.
So Luke, how can we find you, brother?
Easiest places you can connect with me on fitmenproject.com. LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook as well, but you can head to fitmenproject.com. We'll take everybody where they need to go.
Excellent. That'll be in the show notes. I know that you do offer an actual legit masterclass, sustaining nutrition and kind of weight loss. Tell us a little bit about that, brother.
Yeah, so the Lean Body Masterclass kind of walks you through the best tactics and principles that my clients use to lose weight, do it in a way that's sustainable so they have more energy, more confidence. So in about 20 minutes, you're going to get a pretty good idea of what you actually need to do. So obviously on that masterclass, there's an opportunity to connect if you were to need support, but I'm pretty proud to say that there's folks that have watched that and implemented and got results.
No, it's solid.
So
it's solid. And squad, just go to Fit Men Project, FITMENPROJECT.com, and just scroll down. Just one scroll, you'll see a place to be able to put your email into, and then you'll get that free video training. It's definitely worth it. So, and my friend Luke, if you don't mind, please leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Yeah, around my expertise of health and fitness, what I will tell you is what it takes to improve your health and fitness is not as intense as I think most people think, but the rewards of doing so are far greater than you imagine.
Wow.
And it is going to require you to take a little bit of a leap at first and push through a little bit of friction at first. But once you get it going, there's a reason everybody who exercises, eats healthy, never shuts up about it. And it's because they feel really good. And you can absolutely do it regardless of the complexity of your life. There's a way to interject the necessary frameworks.
That's just so strong. That ended strong with this. And my good friend Luke is high EQ skills. I mean, his communication with people, when he meets people, you almost feel like you've known him forever. And I absolutely dig vibing with guys like this. He really creates a safe space for people in his training where they can be honest because of his passion of helping people. And he puts his personal interests to the side and really leans into what you are trying to do. His plans are highly customized to your unique situation. I mean, my good friend Luke here he does it for the intention, not the attention. He's not out there. Yeah, he has videos out there. He looks how he looks and whatnot, but he's doing it to really help you lean into your ultimate human potential. By doing that, I mean, he's planting trees he's never going to sit in the shade of because he's putting stuff out there that people can carry through generations because he provides that space and that fun and that caring. And he really, as he leans into his clients, he's a guy that I can just see him with a client, man, that's really listening with his neck. Like he's listening with he's really leaning in. He's doing that with absolutely no judgments. He wants to support you in all you do. And you just have to realize that health and fitness is kind of like a plane launching off the runway. It's like it takes so much to get it off the ground, but once it's up there, you're going to find that the rewards are really better than you can imagine. I mean, it's a grind getting it up, but then you just have to do those micro adjustments. If you're going to go from San Diego to Miami, which I hope he does sometime soon, that plane's just going to make some minor adjustments. He's someone that's lived a life well lived with focuses around family, adventures, nature, and impact. He's somebody that I can just see him telling his clients, inch by inch, it's a cinch, right? By the yard, it's hard. It's not going to happen overnight, but he's going to actually be there for you because he's accessible. And his biggest compliment really is something I really picked up is you can't put into words how good you feel. That's what he loves to hear from people. He wants to get them to places where they can't put into words how good they feel, because it's a lifestyle he's promoting. It's not a program. It's not a diet. It's a lifestyle. And that's what I dig about Luke, man. He levels up his health. He levels up his wealth. He's earned a varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much for coming on, Luke, man. I absolutely love your guts, brother.
Dude, I appreciate the opportunity, and I love your energy, man. I love
Thanks,
when I
brother.
meet other high energy guys. So absolute blast. And I can't wait for you to get out to San Diego, man. We're absolutely going to go get a roll in.
That's it. Appreciate you, brother. Talk soon.
All right.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.